So, we all know music can evoke powerful emotion, but can music be used strategically to help you heal? The answer to that coming up. Music has always been an enigma to me, and as a psychology student, the question naturally arose, how can you use music to help heal yourself? I decided to start my research at the beginning. I began looking at the way that ancient cultures decided to use music to heal themselves, to actually see, did they do it? And if so, what did they do and was it effective? While doing my research, I began to realize that music had been used even before the agricultural revolution. So before we even started farms and started to live in little settlements together that were based around farming. Evidence for this included horns from cows that were used as trumpets, bones that had holes drilled into them. Well, I don't think they were drilling, but it had holes in them that were made to be used as a flute. I even came across suggestions that they would put their hunter's bow, the one end in their mouth, and use that as an almost ancient violin. Along these lines, for the past 40,000 years, the Aborigines, the native people to Australia, have been using an instrument called the didgeridoo to help speed up the healing process of bones. Types of music therapy have even been used by shamans, people who act as intermediaries between the physical world and spiritual world. These include places like Siberia and the Americas. Although in the Americas plant medicine takes center stage, music is often said to be a vital part of these transformational ceremonies that shamans hold. One such technique is drumming at different paces to try and help your consciousness reach a level of introspection. Even after we figured out farming and developed many civilizations, many of them use music therapy in some way. Around 4000 BC, the ancient Egyptians chanted certain vows to help lift their spirits. One of the greatest philosophers of the Western world, Plato, decided to use music as well. However, he believed that music is not for pleasure, as most people take it to be, but actually to help you live the good life, something he called eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is a bit different from pleasure or just sensual satisfaction. It's more about living a life that's fulfilling and meaningful. I wonder what he'd think about rap music videos. Studying these ancient cultures made me realize that music has actually always been linked to healing in some way in these ancient cultures, and that it's just in modern times that we separate it for some reason. Scientifically, the Western world cottoned on after World War II. In 1945, the US government released a bulletin, 187, that actually encouraged all soldiers who had returned home to receive some form of music therapy. Their reasoning was that music helps bring together a group, and it also helps release emotion. Since then, music has been used for many types of healing, such as with learning and developmental disorders, many types of dementias, neurological deficits, brain injury, and many forms of psychopathology, such as depression. Disclaimer, Adele will not help the depression. It's even been used for substance abuse. How does that work? Bro, I thought I needed a drink, but I just needed a jam. So before I give you some practical techniques that you could use at home with music, you're probably wondering at this stage, what is it about music that lends itself to healing? How does this work? This is bizarre. The first idea is that music is ambiguous. Sure, certain music might make us all feel sad in some way or happy or excited, but everyone thinks about certain things, feels certain ways that are unique to them. This makes music a blank canvas that we can paint ourselves upon. And this ability to have the ambiguity and the space to express yourself helps release that inner child. The second idea is that Music is comparable to the language of emotion. It's hard to deny that when you listen to some song, it evokes some emotional reaction. This can be used to your advantage, to use music almost as a hook to dig into those emotions that might be hard to bring to the surface. The third idea is that music unfolds through space and time. So when you're listening to music, the sound can be in front of you, it can be to the sides, it can feel like it's off in the distance with that more ambient sound. And then the time part just speaks to the fact that music is a journey. Think about looking at a painting. It's sort of just there, plop, on the wall, and it's what you make of it. With music, it unfolds over time. It takes you on a journey with crests and... what's the opposite of a crest? A peak? No, they're both peaks. It's got highs and lows. Troughs. This unfolding through time is what allows you to start by listening to a song in a certain way and actually feeling different by the end of it. You need a block of time in between to transform. The last idea is that music is like a lullaby. It's very comforting. Think about people who are walking alone on a dark street. They might start to whistle or hum to themselves. Don't die, don't die. Music has the ability to calm us down. Often under times of stress, we can feel quite dissociative, meaning that our mind pulls us away from reality and we start to have this feeling of this isn't real, or this feels surreal, or I don't feel like I'm in my body. The humming of a tune helps keep you grounded to your sensory experience. It's the string that keeps the balloon from floating away under times of stress. So, how can you use music at home? The first technique will require you to sit back to back with someone, preferably someone who won't judge you for this, and then to have one of the participants start to vocalize whatever they're feeling. They can speak, hum, sing, whatever it is, but just to allow themselves to express whatever they have inside. While that person expresses themselves, the other person just sits there and tries to listen non-judgmentally. What this does is it gives the person who's expressing themselves the feeling of being a baby almost, with their back supported, but still having room in front of them to be fully expressive and to not be overshadowed by the other. Sounds weird, but give it a try. Don't knock it until you try it. Unless we're talking about Crocs. Then knock it before you try it. Another technique you might try is to listen to a song to listen to it. So you lie down, close your eyes, put on a song, and try and stay with the song beat for beat, moment for moment. This could be considered a technique of mindfulness. It's just trying to practice listening to a song as it comes, moment to moment. What's going on right now and what does it sound like right now? This might sound like what you do every day, but if you think about it, we often anticipate a chorus, so we'll almost block out the last 5 seconds before a beat drops. Or we might start to think of someone else or what the song reminds us of, or all the meanings attached to it. Try and cut off that tail and stick with the body of the song. Try and stick with what it sounds like beat for beat. Try and hear every kick drum, every snare hit, every key that's played. And you might actually start to get a full, richer picture of what's going on in the present moment. It might even allow you to generalize the ability to be present in your other areas of life. The third idea involves using mental imagery. So now you won't necessarily try to stay with the music as you did in technique 2. But now you should just check in with your mind and check in with the images that pop up. We can either think in language or in pictures. For this technique, you focus on the pictures. What you can then do is to try and make sense of those pictures. What is it about that image that appealed to me in this moment? Why did that come up to the surface? You can then use those images, package them and turn them into life scripts to be able to kick off the old life scripts of your life, any other way you've defined yourself or any way you think of the world. You can use these newly configured images to try and make sense of your experience and who you are. And finally, the fourth and last technique just involves using that lullaby-esque quality of music to help calm yourself down under times of stress. Really use it to tap into that bodily and brain physiological architecture. And that's it for this video. I'd like you to comment below on ways in which you've used music to help heal yourself. What I've said is definitely not a definitive list, and I'm sure everyone has some form of experience with music and their own emotion. And if you would like more videos that make the science a bit more helpful and makes the self-help a bit more scientific, then please subscribe. Oh, and to my musician friends, keep jamming.